size that
What
skill.
are we talking
that
about?
arm.
There's Herbie.
Oh, yeah, there he is. Some of the first radio I ever did in Columbus was with Mr. Herb Street right there. All right, lots to get to on the program today. We will go around the NFL. We'll continue to get to set for our game against the Steelers coming up. Hey, there he is. Good to see him. Lots of fun on the program. A little higher or lower coming up as well. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
In Cleveland.
Yeah, there's a new way to cheer on your Cleveland Browns with the help of your favorite four-legged companion. Barking Backers, presented by Milk-Bone, is the Browns' newest club for pet parents worldwide. Sign up today at barkingbackers.com. Barking Backers, the fan club for dogs. As we go around the NFL, Mike Evans' one-game suspension has been upheld. Of course. Why wouldn't it? Of course it would be upheld. He was officially missed Sunday's game against the Packers. The NFL announced this yesterday. I don't understand what the other option was, of course.
Yeah, no surprise there at all.
Yep. The NFL also warned a letter to former Bucs head coach Bruce Arians, who stood in the white stripe reserved for officials, players, and coaches during the brawl. What was he doing there?
Why was he even on the sideline?
I have no idea.
He's like a senior consultant.
Yeah. The only thing I could think of is so if Brady if Brady orchestrates his move to Miami,
Okay.
if he is allowed to, I don't know, did you think that he just thought the Bucs would trade him to Miami, or that they would somehow, because even in a release situation, they would still retain his rights?
Yeah, I don't know none of
What
this
was he
makes sense.
thinking?
I don't know. I'm
Okay.
Tom Brady, and this is where I want to be, so I'm going to be there.
Okay, so it would have required the Bucs to trade him to Tampa. Arians at the Combine says we're not trading Tom for anything.
Yep.
The end. Chronologically, I think I have this right. Brady, at this point, is retired. Then all of a sudden shows up at Man United. His kid's meeting Cristiano Ronaldo, owned by the Glazers. He's going to stay, going to play another year for the Bucs. Arians is now out.
Out.
Brady doesn't want any part of Arians.
Yep.
So Arians is out, but yet he still has a lot of power over everybody else in the organization. And my God, he won a Super Bowl. So he's kind of hanging around.
It seems very odd.
I don't like the vibe with them, man.
No, they don't look great. But again, let's go back to the year they won the Super Bowl. They did not look great. They were drubbed by the Packers.
They were.
And then they got it all figured
Saints
out.
swept them twice.
And then they didn't lose again.
No, I know. But this feels a little different.
I agree with you. They don't
From an off-field standpoint.
They're not impressive right now.
No, they're not. Dolphins cornerback Tua Tagovailoa, Chiefs corner Jalen Watson, Jets punter Brendan Mann named AFC Players of the Week, Amon St. Brown, Darius Slay, Graham Gano named NFC Players of the Week. Have you had a chance to take a look at what McDaniel is doing with the Dolphins?
In terms of what?
Just schematically, what he's doing with Waddle and Hill.
I did not get not much chance to watch.
I know,
that
you're busy.
game.
You got a lot going on. So you knew him, obviously, well here and liked him a lot.
Yeah.
And you know the tree with which he was birthed. So Tyreek Hill is a weapon unto itself in the NFL. I think we can all argue that. There's nobody close to that. If there is somebody close to that, Jalen Waddle's probably it.
Yep. Jalen Waddle is awesome. Everybody's like down on him.
Who's the hell's down on him? How could you be? He's probably he might be the second fastest guy in the league playing receiver.
And he's a great route runner. He's a perfect complement to Tyreek Hill. I mean, it's
okay,
great.
So he's got two of them. So what McDaniel is doing a lot on offense is he is putting them in motion, and in a sense, they're almost getting like a 5-yard head start on their routes,
like the CFL.
Yeah. So he's getting this momentum for the two of them running routes, and they are at times 8 yards clear of people. And you'd be right to be curious if Tua could make some of the throws that are being required, because they are having to wait. There's no question. They're having to wait around, but they are so clear that it almost doesn't matter.
Yep.
It's really – they are a fascinating team to watch. Them in Buffalo this week is pretty good.
Yeah. That's a good game. Remember, they smoked the Patriots in week 1. They made an unbelievable comeback against the Ravens in week 2. They're a team that's got a very good defense, do the Miami Dolphins. And guess what? Nobody else is like Lamar Jackson. So Lamar gave them problems. You could say Jalen Hurts would. Josh Allen certainly is a very capable runner as a quarterback, but in a very different style. And so I think it's going to be a fun one. That's a fun game. And off the top of where's that being played?
It is in Miami.
In Miami. Okay, good. So
they've had both.
I think Bills.
Guess the lines?
Yeah,
we doing a little guess the lines?
Little Cousin Sal.
Cousin Sal?
Yeah. Bills.
All right, Billy boy.
-2.
6.
What?
6.
Wow, that's a big line.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Little preview. There's a lot of big ones. I mean, you think about this. The Bengals are 0-2 at the Jets.
5-point favorites.
Yep. They're 5 on that. I'm just going through, like, games of consequence. 2 0-2 teams that neither thought they would be, Raiders and Titans. One of those two teams is going to be 0-3.
Okay, hold on. Where is that one?
That's in Nashville.
In Nashville, Raiders -4.
2. Chiefs at Colts. This line doesn't seem big enough to me.
Chiefs at Colts. Okay, you gave me a little bit of a hint there.
Sure, little lead.
Chiefs -6.5.
Nailed it.
Ah.
Nailed it.
Okay. Okay. Well, I would have gone over 7, but once you said that, it feels like they're trying to.
They want that.
So I'm like, why do they want people on? It's got to be just under a touchdown.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why I got to that one.
We mentioned the Bills one. Huge game in the NFC North. 2 1-1 teams. Vikings and Lions.
Where?
Minnesota.
Vikings -5.
6.
Oh.
Yep.
Ravens. Did you think that's high?
I think it's a little. I would have been closer. I would have been 4.5.
Okay.
Area,
All right.
something like that.
Yeah.
You like the Vikings a little more than I do,
do.
and I probably like the Lions a little more than you do. Ravens at Patriots, 2 1-1 teams at Foxborough.
Baltimore -3.
Nailed it. Good job out of you.
Really?
Yep.
Let's go.
That's 2. You got to be on guess the stat.
Come on.
You're right on.
Where are
it
you
on
at,
Guess the
cuz?
Lines.
Call me up.
Yeah. I mean, this could be a retribution after all of the terrible things he said.
That's right.
Eagles.
I had a text ready to fire off to the cuz, by the way, when we were 2-0. Ready. On pause for a few days. I'll get to send it Thursday night.
Chargers are hosting the Jaguars, 2 1-1 teams in L.A. That might be a game where you could buy a ticket for $8.
Yeah, that feels like a standard 7 to me.
Nailed it. Yep. This is really impressive what you're doing here. Rams
Let's
at
go.
Cardinals, 2 1-1 teams in this one in Arizona, in Glendale. Rams and Cardinals.
Rams -2.
3.5 for the Rammies. Just ram it. Boy, here's your poo-poo platter. Falcons at Seahawks. Jeez.
Seahawks -3.
2. Pretty close.
Okay.
Packs at Bucks in Tampa.
Ooh, in Tampa.
No Mike Evans.
Tampa -1.
1.5.
Oh. Okay.
This is surprising to me. Broncos hosting the 49ers.
Denver +1.
+1.5. Yep.
That's
Good
pretty
job.
good.
You did a really
I
good
had
job
them
on
as
those.
a
Nailed
dog.
those.
All right.
Yeah. I like
Man.
the Niners there.
Okay. All right.
Did you see the Hoff?
I might leave right now.
You should
I'm
be.
feeling great.
Well, I'll go with you. Did you see
We got 2 people in there.
They're more than capable. Did you see the Hoff Badger on Badger crime on Russ Wills?
No. What did he say about him?
So that video of run pass, guys,
so
run pass.
weird. Yeah.
And Hoff's like, I'm paraphrasing, but I'm not sure. It's something to the effect of, I'm not sure I've seen anything like this other than like in Pop Warner, like in.
So.
And then he goes, I'm not even sure this is going to do any good.
Yeah.
Because it's not.
Yes.
What happens on a play action? So he kind of calls out all of it. But it's Badger on Badger crime.
By the way,
Whole pack of Russell Wilson, whole pack of Badgers.
and his last one, and he says this, when Kyle Shanahan was our offense coordinator, we had the best play action fakes in the NFL. He would tell the offensive line that we needed to make it look exactly like the run, and if we did, he would never blame a sack on us. 0 chance people from the sideline would have been able to tell if it was a run or a pass. Exactly.
Of course.
It's not that easy.
No.
You're not like in the
not-
backfield with
they're
him.
not
There's a
8-year-olds.
guy who's like standing there, is like, no, he actually handed the ball off. Run. You're on the sideline. And I can say this as someone who has been on the sideline in certain parts of the field. I'm closer to the action that is happening than the players on the sideline. They
For
are
sure.
confined between like the 30s.
Yeah. By the time you identify it's a pass, it's too late.
And they're not listening.
No.
Have you ever watched? There's the thing. Have you ever watched? You have, but I'm saying this is like
In the
a
general.
More,
Yeah.
the royal we. Like coaches trying to get communication to players on the sideline, they are screaming, and they're their coaches waving their arms, trying to get their attention because it's an NFL stadium. And the notion that like guys going run, and the linebackers go, oh yeah, okay, I better go get him now, like is insane.
Right.
It's bizarre, and
It
like
is.
if I was on his team, I'd be like, dude, what are you doing?
What
How
are
about
you
you
doing?
watch? You should be looking at your surface
Find some film, brother.
and figure out how to be better. And instead of doing this, how about you spend time next to Nathaniel Hackett going like this? Javante. Play Javante.
Give him
Only Javante.
the ball. 33 is good.
Better than 25, even though he's Albright's neighbor. Better.
5.5 yards a carry
Give him the
for
ball.
Javonte Williams. Do you think it's possible now that because you've had a chance to see some of the mismanagement from Hackett in week 2, so that's 2 weeks in a row where he's just lost. Is it too much of a stretch to say they hired him as an effort to lure Aaron Rodgers because of their close relationship that was very well reported, that Rodgers liked Hackett a lot, that they hired him to lure Rodgers to Denver only for Rodgers to stay in Green Bay, and now you're stuck with this guy. They still get Wilson, but now you're stuck with a guy who, to me, seems ill-equipped for the job.
I mean, I don't think they would be wrong to just be like, we got this wrong. He's out.
After 2 weeks, I wouldn't.
Sean Payton, you want to come in here and try to take this over for the rest of the
Wouldn't
season?
that be like the dream for Sean Payton to go to Denver and run that operation with Russell Wilson?
Yeah. I mean, I would think so, but that's what I would be doing.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy's he is bad. The other problem is that I think that the quarterbacks, it feels like he's declining a little bit.
I don't have a problem with it.
And he is bizarre.
Different cat, brother. Different cat. Yeah.
How interesting. How bizarre.
Very, very. All right, coming up next, we go one-on-one with Greg Newsome from last night's Kevin Stefanski show. You have that to look forward to, plus our matchup, our defense versus their offense. It's coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. The Bath Authority gives you that bathroom of your dreams in about a day. You transform your current bathroom into a custom bath for a spa-like experience. Luxurious and easy at the Bath Authority. They make it a reality for you at a fraction of the cost of the competitors. The Bath Authority is our area's premier bath and shower remodeler. They are experts and they are factory trained. They'll come to your place. They'll get it done in about a day. $500 off your next custom bath or shower remodel. Give them a call at 216-220-8399 or go to thebathauthority.com. It's where affordability meets quality. The largest selection of bath projects. They're all made in the United States. Change your bathroom from outdated to outstanding. Acrylic tubs that insulate and keep the heat in. Tub to shower conversions as well. Superior products with expert installers at thebathauthority.com. 216-220-8399 on that. And now here's Z, one-on-one with Greg Newsome. Let's have a listen.
Very happy to be joined now by
You guys are down.
Greg Newsome. And Greg, let's just start and get this over with. We can move forward real quickly. You guys watch the tape. You know what you have to clean up. What was kind of the tone and the kind of the messaging in your meeting room, in your position room, to get this fixed so that we can go take care of business like we know we can?
It's honestly just to, have practice be the game. When we go through walkthroughs, have it be crisp, have it be sound, have everyone, paying attention and, really just to lock in. I feel like if we do that, it should be an easy fix.
Are we like with the hand signals? I saw that AWOC gave the hand signal and most everybody got it on that one play. Is there now kind of something in place like, all right, everybody acknowledge the hand signals or anything like that?
Yeah, we're just going to try to, over-communicate. So corners look at safety, safety look at corner, Mike look at like everything. So, that's just what we're going to try to do. You don't want to put too many signals on tape all the time as well either because then, obviously the offense may know. But, we got to find some way. We're still trying to figure it out of, not necessarily having hand signals every week, but just making sure we actually make eye contact when we're talking to each other.
All right, so that's going to get cleaned up. And now this defense has an opportunity, as we've talked about at the beginning of the year, to be special. We've seen flashes of that through 2 weeks. When you guys kind of go back and watch yourselves, take the blown plays out of it. That doesn't matter. What have you seen in the regular defense that you like, and what have you seen that you guys want to improve?
I feel like we're elite. Other than those, like you said, those busted coverages, I feel like we've been playing great football. Even week 2, obviously, he ended with 300-some yards. The first half, he had 100 yards. Like, we just got to clean up some stuff, and most of that came in the fourth quarter. Then, you go back to week 1, once again, didn't really have that many yards, blown coverage, a lot of yards. So I think we've been doing a lot of things great. But at the end of the day, you got to stay consistent, and you got to, do it for 4 quarters. You can't do it for 3 quarters. You can't do it for 3 quarters in 10 minutes. You got to play the whole, 60-minute football game. So that's what we're looking to accomplish next.
All right, the next opportunity comes with the Pittsburgh Steelers coming to town Thursday night, back at home. And last year, look, you guys had a rough one, and then you had a Thursday night against Denver that came right after it. We're able to get it done. How do you kind of draw on that, turn the page, and get ready for a big game?
Man, Steelers week. So I think it's pretty easy. If you're not hyped, you know the history between the Browns and the Steelers. So if you're not hyped to play in that game, you're not going to be hyped to play. So it's like rivalry week in college. So. We're super hyped. We know our fans will be there to support us, and, we're just looking to go get that dub.
Similar to the Jets, who I thought had a very good receiving trio with Elijah Moore, Corey Davis, and then Garrett Wilson. So do the Steelers. Deante Johnson, Chase Claypool, the rookie George Pickens, good tight end, Freiermuth. How do you guys kind of prepare for that group and some of the new things they're doing this year?
Yeah, it's just to, watch film. Obviously, it's a short week, so, you got to really get on your film study as much as you can. And, at the end of the day, you got to just do our job, and that's, contest balls and, win our one-on-ones. That's the message, win your one-on-one. Because obviously it's more of a short week, so it's hard to, get in all the film that you normally get in a full week's time. So, at the end of the day, it might be some stuff that we don't see, that we don't game plan, but at the end of the day, we got to win our one-on-ones.
Deante Johnson is one of the better route runners in the league and the guy who can create separation. What makes him so tough to deal with?
Yeah, first of all, he's not, that big receiver, so – that's already a challenge in itself. He's already lower than you. It's hard to put hands on a guy like that. He's super quick. He's super fast. And I said last year, I feel like he was the best one that I went against last year. So he's definitely a great receiver, and, we're looking forward to that matchup.
When you watch them and the things that you have watched, feels like a lot of misdirection, a lot of jets, a lot of trying to flow you one way, get the ball back the other way. What's different about that from what you've seen in the past with the Steelers offense? Yeah,
Big Ben wasn't as mobile as Mitch. So it's a lot more, boots and things like that and letting Mitch get out of the pocket. So that's something you definitely got to prepare for. And then I mean, it's kind of sort of like the Jets offense, a lot of, stuff to get your eyes in the wrong, position and then try to work after that. So at the end of the day, this is going to be a real game to show our communication is there and, our eyes are good.
All right, and I know that it's going to be – let's talk just for a second about you guys in that room. Did you guys come together at all and say, look, we're too good for this? Like, we know how talented we are. We got to go out there and prove it.
Oh, for sure, yeah. We had a defensive meeting before, a full defensive meeting. We had a players meeting and just talk about things. And I think the best part about it all, honestly, is, people are mad about stuff like that. There are some teams who, are used to that. Like, we're not used to that. And we –
Back in 30.
So things like that, it should hurt us, and and we should be mad about it. But I think we'll get it fixed, and it's only week 2. That's the good thing about it, and the fact that people are that mad this early is honestly a positive sign. It shows that people are bought in and know that we have a really good football team.
And we have a chance to prove it on Thursday night.
For sure, we will do that.
Greg, thanks so much for the time. Good luck.
You're up.
Good stuff there with Greg. Yeah. Now you go.
There we go.
There you go. Good stuff.
Lights, baby.
That isn't even on us. That was third party. That wasn't even a lights issue on that one, my friend. All right, the Browns defense versus Steelers offense. It is your matchup today. It's brought to you by Evolve Technology. Evolve Technology powers best-in-class security for the Cleveland Browns. Dr. Z.
All right, Steelers offense right now led by Mitch Trubisky. That's what you said, right? Steelers offense. They've
Correct.
been
That is
below
correct.
200 yards passing in both games. You look at their numbers for the year, they are averaging 4.8 yards per pass attempt. That is worst in the NFL. 3.8 yards per rush, 4.3 yards per play. Again, one of the worst numbers in the entire National Football League. It is insane how bad they've been. Third worst in yards per play. Just dreadful. I mean, they've been a dreadful offensive football team. Mitch Trubisky cannot complete passes of more than 10 yards in the air. 33 of his completions have come in fewer than 10 yards, within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage. Not afraid to check it down. Najee Harris is averaging 2.9 yards a carry this year. And here's a crazy thing. So Najee Harris last year leads the NFL in touches and snaps, almost 1,700 total yards, 10 touchdowns. Since he's come into the league, he's averaged 4.3 yards per touch, which is the worst among the 20 players who have the most touches in the NFL. Their line has 2 new starters. Mason Cole comes via the Minnesota Vikings. He's the new center. James Daniels from Chicago, former second-round pick of Chicago in 2018, signed a 3-year, $26.5 million deal. He is the right guard. He's had a pretty good year so far, especially against the pass, but they can't push anybody in the run game. Dan Moore Jr. is their left tackle, 4th-rounder last year in 18 games. Last year he gave up 7 sacks and 46 pressures. Myles Garrett should be able to have his way with Dan Moore. Then they've got Kevin Dotson and Okorafor as the right tackle, who's actually played pretty well. Pat Freiermuth, touchdown last week against New England. He's had 7 touchdowns in his rookie year. He's got 9 catches, 97 yards. Then you go out to the receivers, and this is where they're very dangerous, and all the talk coming out of Pittsburgh right now is how they've got to get these guys more involved. Chase Claypool, 8 catches, 44 yards. That's 5.5 a catch. Deante has more targets, receptions, and yards than all other wide receivers combined. He's got 13 catches, 112 yards so far. 1,000-yard guy last year. And you heard Greg just say he's the best receiver he faced in 2021, which covers a lot of ground, to be honest. Pickens, only 2 catches for 26 yards. He's apparently frustrated already. So they've got to find ways to get them involved. And here's the thing that's so odd to me, and it was odd. I was talking with Charles Davis, who called the game for CBS, both Steelers games so far. They are insistent on putting Chase Claypool in the slot. Why? They want to have him involved in their run game. Okay, he's got 6 rushes for 36 yards. All came in week 1 against Cincinnati. But let me ask you a question. If you have a 6'4", 230 guy who runs a 4.4 40, what are you worried about him doing? Running down the sideline, and they throw the ball up to him. He had 800-plus yards in both of his seasons, 11 touchdowns, 14 yards a catch, and they've had the brilliant idea to put him in the slot. And when they go to 3 receiver sets, he stays in the slot. Deante's playing outside with George Pickens. It feels like Deante Johnson, 5'10", 183, shifty, great route runner, would be perfect in the slot. And you have 2 giants and 6'3" Pickens, 6'4" Claypool on the outside. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Maybe they'll fix this. Trubisky saying, I'm going to throw the ball down the field more. You know, they're going to move the pocket. But last week on passes of 10 yards in the air, 5 of 12, 74 yards, and an interception. They just have not been a good offense, and there's a lot of talk now that, look, if it doesn't get going here soon, it's Kenny Pickett time. And, in fact, as soon as next week. It could be Kenny Pickett time if the Browns handle the Steelers here and Trubisky has another game on par with what he's done so far this season. So
why would you it was like Mitch Trubisky is in the brochure.
Of course.
He is what you know that he is. Like he's not going to be something different in your offense.
But we talked about this at the Combine.
Yeah.
Here's a guy that after people watched him as a starter and a winning starter, by the way. You know, you look at his career
60%
record.
60% of his games.
Yeah.
Wasn't he like 22-11 or something like that?
30-22.
Yeah.
For his career as a starter. And teams said, the best contract you're getting in the NFL, my friend, is 1 year to be a backup for like $3 million in Buffalo. And then you don't play any games at all. And now we're going to make you a starting quarterback again and expect it to be a whole new experience. Okay. Somebody had
what
that
changed?
idea. Nothing, and it's looking very much like Mitch Trubisky looks. And this is a team, again, that obviously they're going with Kenny Pickett, but this is a team that Ryan Tannehill would be excellent on. It's just funny, though. You look at like last year, right, against us in the two games, Najee, 26 rushes, 91 yards, 28 rushes, 188 yards. It was his best game on that Monday nighter in Pittsburgh. They haven't run for 100 yards as a team in 4 straight games.
Jeez.
They haven't run for 100 yards as a team in 4 straight games. That's the longest streak, the second longest streak in the NFL.
If you can't stretch it and you're not great up front, it's hard to run on 9-man fronts and 8-man fronts. Yeah. And that's what Najee's having to run into. This is a lot of what ails us. They provide elixir. Because
totally.
Matt Canada's offense is one of horizontal. They run all these jet sweeps. They try to throw it out. The problem is when that stuff was really in vogue a decade ago, you had a lot of plodding linebackers.
Not anymore.
You don't anymore. Linebackers run like safeties used to.
Yep.
So when you think about JOK and Anthony Walker Jr. and you think about their ability to go sideline to sideline, it fits right into what Pittsburgh's trying to do. They're like a decade late with this. So you should be able to eat that up. The fact that you have Miles back is huge. Trubisky's not able to stretch the field offensively, so it's really just tackle and space, and you should be pretty good.
Now you got to be careful, though, because I do believe that he is going to – I think he knows it's this or not, and I think he's going to throw the ball.
Well, I know he's going to throw it a lot. I just don't know that there's the ability to make you pay unless you do the bus like we had the first 2 weeks. So as long as that doesn't happen, it feels like this could be a bit of a slog for the Steelers offensively. What changes need to be made for the defense for the Browns to win tomorrow? No bus. That's it. If you don't have the bus, you're 2-0.
Yep.
And it's not particularly close if you don't have the bus. What matchup will you be paying close attention to? Gibby wants to know. I mean, I think the obvious one is our corners against their receivers, but I don't know that they have an ability to press the ball down the field the way that you would hope.
I think that you're watching a couple things. So you're watching our ability to get to the quarterback. So our ends, Miles and Alex Wright now, and Rochelle and Isaiah Thomas, our ends against their tackles. And then our interior guys maintaining the line of scrimmage. So I think part of it's there. And then I didn't include Freiermuth. It's our corners and our safeties against their talented, pass catchers. And that's it. That's what the matchup is here. By the way, here's a little trivia that I came across. There are 2 receivers in the NFL who have 5 or more catches in at least 10 straight games. One of them is Deante Johnson, 14 straight games with 5 or more catches. The other, Cooper Kupp, at 25 straight games with 5 or more catches. But not Devontae Adams, not Stephon Diggs, Deante Johnson, and Cooper Kupp.
There you go. Biggest challenge facing the defense, don't blow it. That's it. Don't blow it. You blew it, boy. We can't have that. Can't blow it. You stay disciplined. You handle your business. You get them off the field. I like Najee a lot, but with what he's run up against in this offense, it's just it's not tough sledding. There's no sledding. There's not much there. So as long as you gang tackle him a little bit because he's a bit of a force, but he's ailing too. He has a foot.
Yep.
He was dealing with a Liz Frank thing, so that's worth monitoring as well. Miles playing in this game is an absolute game changer, needless to say, because he is a one-man wrecking ball, and I think it says a lot about his give-a-damn level, his heart, that he is. I mean, he's not right, and he's going. because it's a must-win type game for us. And
He's got to. We need it.
he's
and
got to
going to do it.
He's going to give it a go. So that's good.
By the way, one thing about our defense, real quickly, I think it's fun to point things out like this. The Browns defense has, you go to edge rushers, this is Pro Football Focus. We've got the number 2 graded edge rusher in the NFL, which is Myles Garrett. Number 1 is Micah Parsons. So it goes Micah Parsons, Myles Garrett, Von Miller are your top 3. You go to the linebacking position. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is the number 1 linebacker in the NFL. Anthony Walker Jr. is the number 3 linebacker in the NFL. Sione Takitaki is the number 5 linebacker in the NFL.
Yeah, it's weird because it's when you're all those guys are playing at the level they're playing at, it's really the back end that has been disappointing. And when you look at this back end, they're not equaling the sum of their parts.
Not at all. And in fact,
By a damn stretch.
if I go to the defensive area, so corners, in terms of corner grades, this is in the NFL through 2 weeks. So not much. Our top graded corner at number 18 in the NFL is MJ Emerson. And if you take it to guys that are playing like 50% of the time, MJ Emerson shoots up to the number 10 corner in the NFL. Last year, all 3 of our starting corners were in the top 29 in the NFL. Right now, MJ Emerson is the only one. Our rookie is the only one in the top 29. And then if you go into the safety room, where last year, over the second half of the season, Grant Delpit was like the number 8. John Johnson was the number 12. If you were to go to the safety room right now, we've got John Johnson is 31st, and Grant Delpit's not even on the first page. Grant Delpit, out of the qualifying safeties, there's 63 safeties who have played every snap or played 50% of their team snaps. He's 57th.
Yeah.
So our back end is not performing at the level it should. By the way, Minka Fitzpatrick is the number 1 graded safety.
He's been sensational.
Yep.
He really has been. Elk & Elk Serious Lawyers, serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK Ohio for a free case review. Elk & Elk's a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. Brooke Pryor going to join us coming up next. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. And Browns fans, be sure to stop by the free Twisted Tea Tailgate pregame party prior to every home game. Twisted Tea Tailgate, located on the west side of First Energy Stadium, combines the atmosphere of a beer garden with live music, food, and drink options. The tailgate opens 4 hours prior to kickoff and is open to fans with a ticket to the game. Brooke Pryor is going to join us here momentarily of ESPN Nation on the Steelers side of things. Lots of new stuff at the stadium this season.
Always trying to improve that fan experience, brother.
What was your favorite improvement from year to year?
I don't get to enjoy them.
No, but you're in the mix. You're in the mix. You're with the people. You're a man amongst the people.
I know that people have liked the Twisted Tea Tailgate.
Yeah.
People
Do you like the two dogs?
I love the two dogs on the entrance
and
the fence. Yeah, that's our guy Brent Rossi right out there. He
B. Ross had that with the dogs.
Yeah. It looks sweet with the smoke coming out.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if people have got a chance to see the video. Our own Jeff McDaniel, video stud,
How
was like
good is
running
that dude?
right behind Miles through the smoke, and as he makes his entrance out to the stadium, it was
like
awesome. That moment was cool. The guitar smash is
That's
awesome.
new?
That's new. Yeah,
That's cool.
The Hoff for
Yep.
the Dog Pound Captain, another one right there, another Rossi special. And as the Hoff told you, got to get those goggles on, got to wear gloves, got to be safe.
Is there some sort of a plexiglass around that so shrapnel doesn't?
I think it's far enough away that there's no way it would be like back to the crowd.
Okay. And then is that going to be kind of like we saw, the Seahawks do this with the 12th man or
Yep.
with Minnesota? Like you're going to have a different guy every week doing that. That's the deal.
By the way, could there have been a more interesting choice for the opening game?
I was wondering if you
Chargers, Chiefs, and it's Dwayne
of all
Bowe.
the humans.
It's Dwayne Bowe. No, Dwayne Bowe is very good.
Where's Priest Holmes? Is he around?
Dwayne Bowe is very good for the Chiefs. Not as good as Priest Holmes was, but he
Trent
was
Green?
very good. I don't know. I was like, Dwayne Bowe. This is
Of all
unreal.
humans.
He had a couple thousand yard seasons
Is Steve
there.
DeBerg around?
I bet he made a Pro Bowl or two with them.
Dwayne Bowe?
That man stole money from us.
No.
Dwayne Bowe?
Dwayne Bowe was offered a contract, and I'll tell you what, I had a great talk with Dwayne Bowe last week of that season. I've told you this story, I think, Gibbe. So I'm like he could still play. He just, whatever it was, he and the coaches, by the way, it's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Dwayne Bowe. Turns 38 today. He had 3,000-yard seasons in a 4-year stretch with them. Went to a Pro Bowl in 2010. 15 touchdowns that year. Led the NFL.
Big. Yeah, I remember that.
Anyway, we signed him. As
Correct.
everybody knows. He did. I think his career stats with us are like 3 catches for 30
Yeah.
yards, maybe.
Not 1,000.
5 catches for 53 yards in that 2015 season. And, he felt like he could still play the coaches, and he didn't see eye to eye. And
Who is that 15 for us?
that would have
Is
been
it Pettin?
Mike
Mike
Pettin.
Pettin's second year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a fan of Dwayne Bowe. And I was like, Dwayne, he was always very nice to me. He seemed to be a guy who was out there enjoying life, floating around, as it were. And so I was like, what happened? He goes, Dwayne Bowe doesn't even know what happened to Dwayne Bowe. Dwayne Bowe wanted to play football. They didn't want Dwayne Bowe to play football. Dwayne Bowe wanted to practice. They didn't want Dwayne Bowe to practice. So Dwayne Bowe doesn't know what happened to Dwayne Bowe this year. I was like, okay. That's like
A
8,000
full third person?
the whole time.
It's awesome.
Like for like 2 minutes. I'm like, this guy's great. And that was it.
Amazing.
That was it.
Good job out of him.
Yeah.
Who's quarterbacking us in 15? Is that John?
2015's Josh McCown, I want to say.
Okay.
And he
For the
gets
first game,
and then he
was
gets
that
knocked
the-
out. And then Johnny wins week 2 against Tennessee.
Yep. To the rabbit.
Yep. Travis Benjamin deep. Yeah, 2015 Cleveland Browns. All right, we were
McCown
3-13
got
that year. McCown started 8 games. John Football 6, and then I'll give $1 to anybody who can get the third quarterback who started that year.
SEC guy.
Is that accurate?
Connor Shaw?
No. That was 2014. He started the last one, Connor Shaw from South Carolina, and played with like a broken rib and a broken arm. Pretty tough. He's a tough guy.
He went right to the hospital after that game.
Yeah.
Jeez.
There was a
It-
conversation.
give
It
me a
is a
Still in the league?
yeah, I don't know what conference this is in. Hold on, let me give you the conference.
I don't know what conference. That's not a good
Week
sign.
8?
He started 2 games that year. Good golfer, bounced around the league a lot, went to the same college as Brett Favre, Southern Miss.
Southern Miss?
Yeah.
I got nothing.
Austin Davis.
No.
2
It
starts for the
would've-
Browns that
He was
year.
with the Rams at one point, wasn't
Yeah.
He
he?
was.
in
We picked him
Seattle.
up from the Rams.
He started, if I'm not mistaken, when after like the whole Billy football gate happened. Is when
Oh, after Bill football?
I think Bill football is when he got some work.
Oh, my God.
Isaiah
There's so many
Crowell.
stories from that
Crow
season.
leading rusher, 706 yards. Our leading receivers, that year were, it feels like, is this a big play Gare year? Yeah, big play Gare, 1,043 yards. Big play Gare, 79,043 and 9.
Jeez.
Big play Gare.
Someone had to catch it.
Travis Benjamin, 68, 966 and 5. Hartline, 46 catches, 523 yards. There you go.
Is that the first year of the new uniforms? The now new old uniforms? It is, right? Because John's first year they wore
The old ones.
traditional.
So the 15. Yeah, dude.
So
I've been through a lot, brother. That feels like a long time ago,
it's like
man.
a long time ago, buddy.
I have Brooke.
Yeah.
It does. It does indeed feel like a long time ago. Nothing in the rearview mirror about this matchup. Two very, very different teams than the ones that would have met all the way back in 2015. For some perspective on this Pittsburgh Steelers team, we head out on the Twisted Tea hotline. ESPN NFL Nation Steelers reporter Brooke Pryor, one of our favorites. Brooke, thank you so much for the time. Let's start here. Through 2 weeks, are the Steelers from coaching perspective, front office perspective, are they what they thought they would be? Are they less than they thought they would be? Does it meet expectations? What's their view of what they've seen through the first 2 weeks?
Yeah, to me, I think it's interesting because we heard all through the offseason they were going to kind of be able to open up the playbook more with Mitch Trubisky finally having a mobile quarterback. But it seems like that's not what we're seeing so far. They haven't really used Mitch Trubisky's mobility to their advantage. They're not throwing the ball down the field. Mitch hasn't looked aggressive, but I think the play calling has also not looked aggressive. The offensive line is better than I think they thought it would be in the preseason, but still not up to the par that they hoped it would be when they signed guys like Mason Cole and James Daniels. So I think that they are underperforming in a lot of ways. The defense, at least the first week, was exactly what they thought it would be with, all the turnovers, the pressure, but you can't anticipate a guy like TJ Watt getting hurt, and I think that they're trying to figure out that new reality without him now.
Let's stick with the offense for just a second here. And Mitch Trubisky, Brooke, if things don't go well, or if they go as they have for this offense a third week with the extra kind of 3 days, do you think this is a time that Kenny Pickett could get the nod?
I'm not ruling it out, although I think it is notable that Mike Tomlin said, hey, we are going to be patient with this offense. We are going to be patient with Mitch Trubisky. But I think that they do want to see some improvement this week. But at the same time, when we were talking with guys in the locker room this week, they all said, hey, there's not really a lot of time to completely change the offensive system. Chase Claypool told me that the calls were there, the game plan was there. They just maybe have to put in some of those calls to get things going. So I don't think that they would go to Kenny Pickett already because, to me, the problem stems more from play calling than the quarterback. But, crazy things have happened on many buys before, so I'm not totally ruling it out.
You mentioned Chase Claypool. I want to ask you about him because when I think of a 6'4", 240-pound guy that can run, you'd want him outside. He's playing in the slot. Yes, they're using him on jet sweeps, but 8 catches for 44 yards, 5.5 a catch. It just feels like he's being miscast. Is there, and I've already heard, rumblings of this, George Pickens isn't happy necessarily. I can't imagine Claypool's happy. Those receivers, what do you make of Claypool being the slot guy? Why is that happening, and how can these receivers get more involved?
Yeah, I don't think that it fits. I'm with you guys. I am confused by that casting as well. We were watching the game on Sunday, and I was talking to the guy sitting next to me, and he said, why the heck are they running Chase Claypool and Ray McLeod routes? That's a great question.
Yeah.
He's a guy that has a much better skill set and different skills than Ray McLeod, and part of me wonders if that's happening because Calvin Austin, the third, their draft pick, starting out the year on IR, I thought they'd be a much better fit in the slot. But at the same time, they kind of talked about wanting Claypool in the slot through the offseason to do Smith-Schuster do last year before he got hurt. I think that they want Claypool on the field. He is being miscast at this point. If they want to get production going, they need to maybe stop overthinking some things in the offense and just put the playmakers where they fit instead of having an offense where they want to use all these receivers interchangeably or put some guys in some unique positions. Just put Claypool on the outside where he can go to work. He's showing that he's better. He's showing that the ball down and stay on his feet, which is, not always a given last season. But I'm not quite sure what they're thinking there.
Well, Brooke, so then this gets to the root of all of this, which is Matt Canada, the offensive coordinator. How did he get this job? Who else was considered? What made them What on the resume led them to believe, and they get a lot right. I mean, let's acknowledge they get a lot right. This one, it feels like they didn't. What did they like about him? What was in his past that led him to believe that this would be a fit for this skill set on this offense?
Well, I think a lot of it had to come from the fact that he was working next door at Pitt, and he led that Pitt offense to a really great season. He had a track record of being a very inventive and very good college offensive coordinator. At NC State, LSU, things went sideways, but he was still doing some inventive things that I think they wanted to put in their offense to mix it up a little bit. They felt like the college offense is going to eventually become a large part of the pro game. They liked what he did at Pitt. And let's be honest, he was on staff. They elevated him from that quarterback job when they parted ways with Randy Fichtner. They like to promote from within. I just don't think that it's necessarily the right fit at this point. Maybe, they'll put some more play calls in this year, but I felt like this week specifically, like I was going back in time because we were asking Mitch Trubisky the same questions we asked Ben Roethlisberger a year ago of, hey, do you think you could mix in tempo more often? It looked like you guys were playing really well when you were going no huddle. Can you do that again? And we had these same conversations with Ben Roethlisberger last year. To me, that points to a coordinator and a play call issue more than it does a quarterback issue.
Brooke, in terms of I mean, this is a huge one for us, obviously, at 1-1, blowing the game like we did on Sunday, up 13 in the final 2 minutes. And so if you want to be relevant by the time you get to week 12 and Deshaun Watson returns, this is one you got to have. From the Pittsburgh perspective, Watt is down. They do have the Pickett thing looming, although listening to you, it seems like it's maybe not as looming as much as some people, particularly the fans, would want it to. Where does this one rank for Pittsburgh in terms of what they're trying to get accomplished this year and in just the feel in that room?
I think being in the locker room the last 2 weeks, it's been kind of a weird feeling. Even though they beat the Bengals, it was still because A, you have TJ Watt hurt, but B, last week, except you add in the fact they couldn't get any pressure, they didn't have any sacks. I think that this is a win that they need for, their psyche at this point. And, for the season, they are somehow atop the AFC North very early on, obviously, but because they do have the win against the Bengals, that helps. But I think they need it just to prove to themselves that this is a team that can have a viable offense, that can win games, and that they can also get by without TJ Watt. To me, this is a win that they need internally to make a statement to themselves that they can get things together, more so than, a statement win to shock the NFL by any means or anything like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, the loss of TJ Watt was felt. Alex Highsmith goes from being Robin to trying to be Batman, and that didn't work so well last week. Who steps in? Who fills in? Who are they excited about, if anybody, on that edge spot opposite of Alex Highsmith now to try to replace TJ Watt?
Yeah, Malik Reed has been that guy. It ended up being a very good trade for them. I think they just swapped 7th-round picks with the Broncos and also got Malik Reed. He's a guy that played over 700 snaps in Denver last year, so they felt like he was a veteran guy. He wasn't starting, but he did become, got more of a starting role with injuries to a guy like Bradley Chubb and Von Miller. And so they felt like he would be a good fit in this defense, and it felt like he was just a couple inches away. A couple times got held on one play where it looked like he was going to get the sack. So they feel like he can step in and at least help this team get by until TJ Watt comes back.
Minkah Fitzpatrick's the best safety in football right now. Interception in both of these games. He's been phenomenal. You look around the secondary, some new faces. Levi Wallace is new, but Witherspoon and Sutton are back. No Joe Hayden anymore. What do you make of this secondary so far? And I know they had the 4 interceptions week 1. They got another one last week with Minkah. What do you make of this secondary, and can it get back to being, an excellent Pittsburgh Steelers, defensive backfield?
Yeah, I think Minkah Fitzpatrick's been playing out of his mind, and you mentioned what are the Steelers going to do without TJ Watt? They've got to have Minkah keep making plays back there to bring the energy, because obviously he's not playing the same position as TJ Watt, but he can occupy the same intangible spot as far as bringing this energy. I think that they just have to stick to their fundamentals. Akella Witherspoon did just about everything he could on that touchdown that he gave up last week, except finish the play, get his hands, play.
Get that
like
ball.
Someone said the above the head play. He just got to come down with it. So it feels like they're right there, kind of like the edge rushers without T.J. Watt. They are so close to being a good unit. But I do think that they have shown encouraging signs early with Minka leading the way.
Brooke, thank you so much for your time. Greatly appreciate it. We'll see you over here tomorrow night.
Of course. Sounds great. Thanks, guys.
All right, that's our friend Brooke Pryor, ESPN NFL Nation Steelers reporter, joining on the Twisted Tea hotline. Buddy, this is the stretch for the Steelers here.
Okay.
So here tomorrow night, Jets at home.
Okay.
At Bills, Bucks, at Dolphins, at Eagles, Saints, Bengals.
Yeah, tough.
Brutal.
That's the thing. I mean, they could be, and that's maybe one of the reasons why they're in no rush for Pickett, because, you'd be put them in a murderer's row right there.
Yeah, you'd be better off waiting after Philly. They go Saints, Bengals, at Colts, at Falcons, and that's their bye week. So and then their bye weeks after Philly at the end of the month.
Yep.
So that's where they stand. Elk & Elk Serious Lawyers, Serious Injuries. Call 1-800-ELK Ohio for a free case review. Elk & Elk's a proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. Coming up next, the matchup on the other side of things, our offense versus the Steelers' defense. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Rumpke Waste Recycling, family-owned and operated. Whether you join them as a customer, as an employee, become part of the family. Visit rumpke.com to learn more. Time for a little bit of matchup. Our offense versus their defense. Before we get into the Dr. Z portion, Gibbe's first question: what changes need to be made on offense for the Browns to win tomorrow? Nothing.
It was great. It's
been great. You've scored enough. Way more than enough.
56 points.
Plenty.
26.
The Steelers
and
the Bengals both have 27, but 37. Both of them.
Yeah.
You scored 56. Should be 2 wins. Got nothing to do with offense.
No, the offense has been phenomenal. If you're trying to just, nitpick and cherry pick and say, okay, well, what could it be? What would be the ideal? Maybe a few more shots down the field that connect, right? I mean, that's if you're saying what's one thing that we could do a little bit better, that's it, right? Is just passing down the field, because that feels like the only thing that there is. Jacoby Brissett has one completion of more than 20 yards in the air this season. It was last week, a 30-yarder down the left side. That's it. So if you say what could we do? A little bit more vertical passing. That's it. Other than that, you're phenomenal. You've rushed for 180 yards in both games. Going back to last year, it's 3 straight. If you run for 180 yards in this one, and by the way, New England's running backs last week averaged 5 yards a carry. We run the ball more than anybody. Mm-hmm. So if we get 5 yards a carry from our guys, we have a chance to get around that 200-yard range, or even 180 for sure. If we rush for 180 in this one, it'll be the fourth straight game, first time since Jim Brown was the running back in 1957. And the Browns did it 7 straight games that year in a completely different world of football.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
couldn't be more different. So just kind of tactically speaking, Pittsburgh bad on outside runs, especially with the loss of T.J. Watt. Gave up 5.8 yards a carry last week on those. Since Chubb has come into the league, he is number 1 in the NFL on runs outside the tackles, 5.8 yards a carry himself, nearly 4,000 yards and nearly 30 touchdowns. The Browns, listen, this is so fun. Only tandem in the NFL with 24 carries apiece, Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. Only tandem in the NFL where you've got 2 guys. There are only 7 players in the NFL that what I'm about to say is true of. They have 100 or more rushing yards and 2 or more touchdowns total. There are only 7 players in the league that's true of.
And we've got 2?
On our team.
Yeah.
Obviously the only tandem in the NFL that is true of as well. This is a team that, they are going to miss T.J. Watt. The pressure numbers I gave you. With him, 7 sacks, 22 pressures. Without him so far, 2 pressures, no sacks. 5 takeaways versus 1. They've never won without him. From a scheme standpoint, this is a 3-4 defense. They'll have 5 on the line of scrimmage, quite a bit. They will play cover 1, which is man with 1 free safety, and that's usually Minkah Fitzpatrick, who's coming down and doing some robbing. Third most in the NFL. They are playing the most cover 2 in the NFL, which is a huge departure from what they used to do. They never did that.
From what they were under LeBeau all those years?
Well, they would never play cover 2.
No.
It would be man 1 and cover 3.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing 26% cover 2, most in the NFL. Still 50% cover 1 or cover 3, but 26% cover 2. That jumped out at me as being a big change schematically for this team on defense, and showing that that's a little bit of shell. And my guess is that was probably built heavily in week 1 with a respect for the ability of the Bengals to throw the ball downfield. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah.
Because that feels like a big departure. So that one, I'm not going to read too much into that. I don't expect to see a bunch of cover 2 against us. I expect to see a lot of cover 1. Alex Highsmith, 3 sacks, leads the team, tied for 3rd in the NFL with Miles. He had all 3 in week 1. Again, they had none last week. Malik Reed, he'll take over for T.J. Watt. 13 sacks the last 2 seasons. He had 8 in 2020 with Denver, a former undrafted free agent out of Nevada. They've got the great Cam Hayward, 5-time Pro Bowler, first-team All-Pro last year. He's got a sack in 2 straight and 3 of the last 4 against the Browns, 9.5 sacks in his career against the Browns. Larry Ogunjobi, who had a great year last year, 7 sacks with Cincinnati, a career high. He doesn't have a sack yet this year. Those are kind of the guys up front. Their linebackers, Devin Bush, just not the same. Miles Jack has been the main guy, leads the team with 23 tackles. And then the secondary. Minkah's the best safety in the league right now. He's got 20 tackles, 2 interceptions, a pick 6 against Joe Burrow, 2 passes defensed. Quarterback's rating targeting him 32.5. Number 1 safety at Pro Football Focus. He's been great. The corners, Witherspoon and Sutton. Now, Witherspoon's given up a touchdown both games. Sutton's got 3 passes defensed and an interception already. Witherspoon himself has an interception, both against Cincinnati, as you might guess. And then they've got Levi Wallace, who was a starter for the Bills, who's now their nickel. So good corners. And they have a guy who's fun to watch, Arthur Mullet, an undrafted free agent out of Memphis, who's kind of like the new Mike Hilton. They bring him in as a run blitzing nickel, and he just blitzes and plays the run. So when he's in, they're expecting you to run. So something that we'll keep an eye on there.
It's I'll tell you, Jacoby Brissett he was sensational on Sunday in the game. He has an ability, and I understand he threw the pick at the end of the game, and obviously you'd like to have that one back in that scenario. You're hanging on to a glimmer of chance, but
You got to force it in. I mean,
you try to do what you got to do.
Yep.
But I will say that it's incredible after what we had seen the previous 4 seasons. The ball is rarely in harm's way.
Yeah,
it's
that's why
really
he's here.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I don't know if people pay attention to that. Like, if you watch the first 2 weeks, the short stuff, there's not anything you're like, oh God, there's none of that. Like, it's all in a pretty short window. No, the shots downfield aren't there. That was all in the brochure, though. But in terms of the stuff underneath, the ball is I mean, even stuff simple like slants, the ball is down and low and in front. It's at a point where only your guy can get it.
Yep.
He just doesn't put the ball in harm's way, and it's something I really appreciate.
That's why he's here.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
I just wanted our fans to understand and look for that, because if you just watch the throws he's making, there aren't that many where you go, oh dear God.
Here's the thing, folks. We are the number 1 rushing offense, 9th total offense, 7th scoring offense. We are 4th on third downs. I'll say that again. We are 4th on third downs. That's a big tip of the cap to your quarterback, his ability not only to throw the ball in those situations, but also he's been phenomenal sneaking. We've gotten a couple first downs with him sneaking. We are tied for first in terms of giveaways. We've only given it away once all year, which is the interception at that end of that game. We're 2nd in big plays on offense, due in large part to our ground game. We've had some nice screens as well. He's been perfect. He's been perfect.
He's been really good.
Yeah.
It's been fun to watch. All right, we'll do a little higher lower coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, welcome back in. Time for a little higher or lower, presented by Keep It Fun Ohio from the Ohio Lottery, who reminds you to know the risks before you gamble. Our senior staff writer, Anthony Poisel, in studio with us. AP Gibbe is here as well. Hello, Gibbe.
Hi, gentlemen.
Hello, Gibbe.
Happy Game Eve.
You said it, brother.
Can you feel the excitement?
Yeah.
It's electric.
How about we have this game? First day of fall tomorrow, right?
Yeah, it's going to be like 50
Oh,
degrees
is it?
outside.
It's going to be brisk. And then you've got isn't Halloween night?
Halloween night,
Monday night
Monday Night
foosball.
Football. I mean, those are going to be two raucous environments.
That's
my
fine.
friend.
Save your energy for tomorrow. That's when you're going to need it.
We're ready, baby.
It's going to be quite
Do you
the day tomorrow.
prefer Thursday or Monday?
Thursday. Because then you get the weekend.
Oh, yeah, you
Agreed.
guys get a weekend.
Entire
Mini
mini
bye
bye.
week. Sweet. You got it, Z.
That's right. Although I think I have Browns countdown on Sunday somehow.
Timely and appropriate.
Set the DVR.
Bo will.
I'll have it.
He doesn't even have to set it. It's already.
It's already set. Any Browns, all that.
Yeah.
DVR, ready to
Boom,
go.
Ready.
Just hit a button and there it is.
Your dad will want to watch it live. I'm
You want
guessing.
for sure.
Wait,
Yeah.
is the Pops coming in this weekend?
Coming in tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
Are they
Flying.
driving?
No, he's flying this time.
Oh.
Yeah, he's flying. So he's doing it. He's going here. Then my brother lives in Florida, so he's going to go here for a few days and then Florida.
Where's he coming from?
Montana. It's west of here.
And he drove that before?
Yeah.
How long is that?
Forever.
I was about to say.
2,000 miles, 2,200 miles.
I mean, that's like 20 hours? I don't know how long
Yeah,
that is.
20. I mean, it's a day, full day of straight driving. It takes you about 3 days of straight driving.
Goodness.
Did it once with my brother, and then he did in the spring. He did it with my uncle.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Shall we play a little higher or lower?
Can't wait.
Presented by our great friends. And nothing. Do we
No,
have
that
a
is, yes, we do. I read it. It's the Ohio Lottery.
It is the Ohio
It's
Lottery.
a Keep It Fun from the Ohio Lottery. Who
Well, how
reminds
about
you
that?
to know the risks before you gamble. You're lucky that you have me, Gibby, because I already read that. So you're
Thank
in good
God, because it wasn't in front of me.
shape. Yeah. Well,
You know why?
how could it not?
Because I'm holding Pete Prisco's power rankings in my hand, and Pete Prisco actually admits that he was wrong, which is a stunning.
I said that
I think,
when I first picked it up. It's
yeah,
unprecedented.
I think it's a stunning revelation.
Wait,
that
what did he
Prisco
say?
admits any kind of wrongdoing.
Did he say it was wrong with these power rankings? What did he say it was wrong about?
Wrong about Tua.
Oh,
That's too.
I
First
think
of all,
it's a little early.
It's premature
it is premature.
to say that he admit that he's wrong about Tua. If Pete were watching their games, and you see what McDaniel is doing schematically and how open players are,
Yeah. You got that. I believe you have that.
Well, anyways, we are presented by the Ohio Lottery, and it is Pete Prisco's Power Rankings from CBSSports.com. The Cleveland Browns are ranked number 17 in this week's Power Rankings. Zagura, I'll start with you. Higher, lower, or just right for your 1-1 Cleveland Browns this week?
Listen, we should be 2-0, and we would have to be ranked, I'm guessing, closer to 12. But we blew it, boy. And so, appropriate. This team has a lot to prove. We said all along, 3-1 in the first four is the goal. It's still in front of you. You've got to beat a team that is ranked behind you in the Steelers, and they need to win this game. I mean, you should be a team of consequence right now. The team that everybody, oh, man, we were sleeping on the Browns. That roster's really actually pretty darn good, blah, 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 blah. And now we fly under the radar, and we've got nobody to blame but ourselves.
Poisal, higher, lower, just right.
yeah, I'm on board with Nathan here. I think it's just right. I think the problems, as bad as they seemed on the defense on Sunday, I think they're fixable. It's still week 2. They just have to communicate more. And if you take away the fourth quarter from
what does that mean?
What do you mean communicate more?
Everybody keeps saying that around here. What does that mean?
They got to talk louder, I guess. I don't know.
They-
I mean,
no, they just need to know their assignments
yeah,
and execute
I mean,
them.
We're doing
but
this.
but it's not like
Right.
it's a technique thing. It's not like it's a lack of talent thing. I feel like communication
it's
is a
I
common
think it's a
problem
mental
that can happen.
breakdown thing
Yes.
that's being disguised as a communication
I think it's a
thing.
mental mistake.
Yes.
I still think it's something that is fixable. I
Yeah.
don't know if it's fixable in a 4-day stretch, but we'll see. But I mean, that's the biggest problem that they have to do. And if you take away the fourth quarter from the Panthers game and from this week, then I think you could say the defense has played a lot better, or can play a lot better still. So I think it's just right.
We're better than two teams ranked ahead of us on his list.
That's right.
Through 2 weeks. We're better than the Broncos. We're better than the Patriots. The Patriots stink.
They stink.
do.
Yeah.
They're
We'll have a chance to
terrible.
prove that.
Now we're going to have to go do it. But guess what? The Broncos stink too.
Yep.
Right now.
Yep. They
Those
lost
two
to
teams
Seattle.
stink. So
They lost to
we
Seattle.
have 2 blown coverages that made one game closer than it should have been and cost us another. Now you can say ifs and nuts, I get it. But if you watch the games, you're better than those 2 teams.
Yep.
We should be better than 17.
Next.
Higher or lower?
All right, number 1 of the Buffalo Bills points
Yes.
out this question for you. The Chiefs at number 2. Higher, lower, or just right? I think we can all agree the Bills are the best team right now.
Yeah, no, this is still just right for the Chiefs. I mean, these are the top 2. These two, the Bills and the Chiefs are in the tier of their own right now, as far as I'm concerned. And I think they're.
The Chargers had them beat.
I mean,
He threw a bad pick 6, and I know you can't take it away, but I mean, they absolutely look like they belonged on the field with them without Keenan Allen, by the way.
Those are the 3.
You are
I don't know.
just
I still don't see many other
honking for
teams
the
in this league right
Chargers
now.
like nobody's business.
Yeah. I still don't see very many teams in this league beating the Chiefs right now. I definitely don't see any teams beating the Bills. So the 1 and 2 is just right for those teams.
So you're calling undefeated season for the Bills.
Yeah,
And the
sure,
Chiefs.
Sure,
Yeah.
I will say that for the Bills. Yeah, I mean,
Undefeated.
I mean, how can you?
17-0 be a hell of a story.
Yeah,
20, they'd be what? They'd have to win in the divisional round, 20-0 total.
20-0.
I mean, this
Oh,
is as
baby.
dominant of a 2-week stretch to open the season as we've seen from a team in a long time. I think
They
from
look
Buffalo.
great.
So
Bishop, do you agree with 1 and 2 being Bills?
Yeah, I mean
and
it's
Chiefs?
appropriate. I would put the Chargers 3rd, and then I would move the Bucks. I don't know what else you're doing here, but I would move the Bucks down. But I would have the Chargers 3rd because if you have to watch. You can't just go wins and losses. You actually have to watch the games. If you watch the games, the Chargers are in this category.
Yes.
These 3
Yeah.
teams separate, and then
And maybe the Eagles.
well,
and what were the
I
Chargers
don't know, we
doing
may
with?
get there. I don't know.
What were the Chargers doing with Herbert only throwing the ball? I was like, what he averaged like 4 yards per attempt or something.
Well,
like
they,
that?
they
Like-
did that, and the Chiefs had a very. I thought both teams on that Monday nighter were kind of taking the approach of we're not going to lose it, which is odd based on
A
their
lot of
talent.
sparring.
It was neither, but nobody wanted to
Lot of
take a shot.
jabs.
So like Mahomes didn't. He took more than Herbert, but it was like neither one.
Herbert had some to Mike Williams, but
Yeah,
that was it.
they
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
didn't live. It was weird how they played. They played very pessimistic, if that makes sense.
By the way, how long ago does it feel that we watched that game? And it was not even a week ago when Herbert had the craziest 2-play sequence, I think, in the history of sports.
It feels like 3 weeks ago.
At least.
It does, yeah.
He
I, was
could've-
gonna- I thought that was Monday night, but you're right. It was Thursday night.
Thursday.
It was last week.
The
Thursday.
first
Tomorrow.
Thursday nighter of the
Yeah.
year.
crazy.
It was last week tomorrow. I like that.
Next.
Higher or lower?
All right, Bishop, you lead us off here. The Buccaneers were 3. Eagles are 4. Eagles, higher, lower, or just right?
They're just right because I have the Chargers at 3.
Yep.
So the problem here for me is the Buccaneers.
Yep.
This is an example of Pete. You're not watching the games, man. They were brutal offensively against Dallas. Their defense is pretty good. They were nothing special against the Saints. There is something off there, man. It's in the press conferences. It's what you're seeing in the games. I don't have the Bucks 3. I have the Eagles. I put the Chargers at 3. The Eagles are just right. They're where they should be. Right now, they're the 4th best team in the NFL.
Zagura.
Yeah, I like them as I think they are the number 4 team, and I think they are the best team in the NFC. So that's right. Slide the Chargers up there into number 3. And I think those 4 teams right now look like the best 4 teams in the league.
Yeah, I would actually move the Eagles up to number 3. I'm with Bo here. I think they have all the pieces that you need to be a top 3
Oh,
team in
yeah.
this league, which is a great QB. I mean, Jalen Hurts is off to a hot start. They've got a great defense that definitely rebounded after week 1. And, I mean, I think the thing that's really stringing it all together for them right now is just how great their offensive line is. I know that's not the sexiest part about a football team, but, I mean, they've been fantastic. And, I mean, I think they're a top 3 team. They should be right up there in the Super Bowl conversation.
Yeah, the whole Tampa Bay is Ford. Well, they got Tom Brady. Well, how's that going?
And they have an excellent defense.
They do, which is
They have an
but they've
excellent
also
defense.
played, predominantly not Dak Prescott and Jameis.
Yes.
So, this week they get Rodgers. So we'll see.
Yeah. Next.
Higher or lower?
All right. The Eagles were 4. Packers were number 5 in Mr. Prisco's power rankings. Chargers 6 takes us to number 7, and the Los Angeles Rams. Higher, lower, or just right? Zagura.
I don't think they're very good. Like right now, I think the Dolphins could beat them. I think the Niners can beat them. I think the Ravens can beat them. I think the Vikings can beat them. I think we can beat them. I think the Cards can beat them. They don't impress me. So what's that, Shania Twain? That don't impress me much?
Great song.
Yeah, they don't impress me much at all. The way that they just allowed Atlanta to come back in that game, Stafford doesn't look great. Allen Robinson doesn't give them
nothing.
He's like Matt Ryan on the Goose's Cook tour. They're not scary. They're not scary.
Boys out.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, Nathan. They're not scary, and they haven't shown anything that should suggest that they're as good as they were last year.
Odell.
Yeah.
That's what they need. I think he's going to go back there. I think he's going to go back there.
Yeah, it feels like it.
He might. Yeah. But it was another bad week for Jalen Ramsey. I know it's Drake London. He's one of the top receivers, but he still had a great game. 85 receiving yards and a touchdown, I think. And what have they shown? A 4-point win over the Falcons doesn't move the needle at all with the Rams from what they showed a week ago.
Yep.
Bishop, do you fear Tampa Bay more or the Rams more?
I like how you pivoted there because you knew I was just going to say the same thing. That's a big giant P moment out of you, just flaunting your penis. Good job. I got Rams.
Ness.
I'm going to have – I said it.
I know. I was emphasizing.
Rams lower, and I fear Tampa Bay more with Mike Evans. I think they have more weapons. The Rams right now are Cooper Kupp dependent entirely. They can't really run it. They don't have anybody else they can trust to throw it, and Stafford's elbow ain't right. So, no.
Line's not
Bucks.
good.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't like it. I don't like it.
Next.
Higher or lower?
All right, the Dolphins at number 8. At number 9, the San Francisco 49ers. And we'll get to Pedro in just a few minutes. But Poisal, higher, lower?
On the Niners?
Or just right, yes.
I'm going to say just right. I think Jimmy G is as good of a backup option as they could ask for, obviously. I know we've talked about that before when they signed him to that big extension. I think they'll be okay with Jimmy G at quarterback. And, they're 1-1 right now, and they're in a division that has had some teams that are underperforming with the Rams and obviously the Seahawks. So, yeah, I think it's just right for the Niners.
Bishop.
They're better with Garoppolo than they were with Lance.
Amen.
They're more of a contender in the NFC with Garoppolo than they would have been with Lance.
Also, yes.
They right now, if I were to rank the NFC, I would have – because you got to remember, they lost in a deluge in Chicago with Lance. So throw that one out. Just on what I see, I would have them as the second best team in the NFC behind the Eagles.
Pedro.
Them are the Niners. Them and the Niners are really close.
Jimmy's back.
Or the Packers.
Isn't he handsome? Niners are back. Last 2 seasons with him. Nobody remembers this. Super Bowl, NFC Championship. Jimmy, we're back, baby. Gold Rush. He's better than Steve Young.
Blasphemy. Blasphemy.
Steve Young, last time we were 2-0, it was Steve Young coming to Cleveland throwing 8,000 picks against the Browns in 1993. Yeah. So, wow.
Ya boy.
Ya boy.
Next.
Higher or lower?
All right, I'm going to add a few more in here as we go through things.
Go ahead, give me. We're ready.
The Ravens, number 10. The Vikings, 11. The Arizona Cardinals, number 12. Bishop, we'll start with you. Higher, lower, or just right for Kyler, Cliff, and company? I don't know what you do with this.
All right, here's what I'm going to tell you.
I feel like we beat them right now.
I do, too. It was really fortunate they were to come back and beat the Raiders. You got to give them credit for that. Can I say that from 11 to 20, he's got the Jaguars 22. From 11 to 22, throw them in a bag, pick them out, and you tell me. You could convince me of any of these.
Can you bump the Lions up a little bit into that mix?
You could, but like the Leons could. Where does he have the Leons? He's got them way too low.
He's got Colts 25.
Yeah, the Lions are too low. The Lions are better than the Colts, the Titans, the Jets for sure. But the rest of these teams in here, every single one of them, I mean, we have the least flaws of all of them. The Vikings at home are really good. I mean, they're where they need to be. I don't know. I still don't like the Cardinals thing. It's weird. Did you guys know in the game, in their game against the Raiders, they came out like really run heavy? And it was so strange how they went about their business. Like, I would think like you have Cliff, you drafted Kyler, be in the gun with 4 wide and let him live.
Well, they didn't have Rondale. They didn't have Hopkins.
I know.
I don't think they had 4 receivers.
Well,
some
they
guy
have
named
to,
Dortch.
some of them are known now.
Some guy named Dortch is blowing up.
Yeah, I don't know.
Dortch was their third best wide
Spin it
receiver.
around a
The
little
Dortch.
bit. Spread it around for the kid.
All right, we got 60 seconds left, so I'm just going to go and ask fact or fiction instead of high or lower.
Oh, I like it. Another
Doing
pivot.
a little audible. Falcons,
Fact
30
or
seconds.
fiction?
Oh, well done, Madison. Zagura, fact or fiction? Falcons ranked 32.
Fiction.
Worst team in the league. Fact
Fiction.
or fiction?
Fiction. Fiction. I think they're better than the Panthers, who stink.
They are better
AP.
than the Panthers.
Yeah, I'm going fiction too. I think the Panthers are the worst team in this league, and I would even put the Falcons above the Texans.
I'm going to tell you what. The Colts aren't far off of that based on what we've seen early.
How are the Bears 28th in this?
Seattle's not good. I mean,
Seattle's
they've
not good.
completed
They're-
like
The Texans have been competitive.
the Bears have completed like 15 passes.
Yeah,
in 2
how are
games.
the Bears
I
28th
don't
and the Texans no love? They've been in every game. They tied.
Pete. Sad.
Pete.
Sad. Hate to see it.
Pete.
Good job, Boyzell.
You got it.
Boys,
So much more to come. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
ESPN Cleveland.
OBM, the official printer partner of the Cleveland Browns. Well, you depend on your Browns to win. You can always depend on OBM. They can tackle any size office. 216-485-2000. OhioBusinessMachines.com on that.
Let's go.
Not on.
Let's go.
We had Corporate Rock walk by. We haven't seen Corporate Rock in a while. She's trying to uncorporate it. She was throwing popcorn around.
I caught it. That's
Caught
a big
it.
pressure moment. Delivered.
It was. Yeah. Yep. Back in the old days, you see her a lot more.
Yeah. Joyous, jubilant. She was an intern for us.
One of the original interns on this show.
That's right.
Really?
Yeah.
That's right.
With Vic?
Her job was to transcribe this bad boy.
1 minute.
What? Oh, my God.
The whole show?
Oh, my God.
For what reason?
Huh?
Why?
Vic wanted her to transcribe it.
That's unbelievable. That's That's awesome. It's hard to get people to transcribe a segment, let alone a whole show. Like, she did a whole show? What a job out of her.
At least if she was transcribing, I think,
Look
our
what
version
happens.
of Browns Daily, she would have laughed a lot. I don't know if there would have been as much laughter.
Not a lot of joy?
A lot of joy.
As much
I would have
as-
loved to see her transcribe the previous segment. That
30
would have been a win.
seconds.
That would have been great.
Yeah. She would have known, though. She would have got it. She definitely would have got it. But see, that type of dedication, now she's Corporate Rock.
She's Corporate Rock.
That's a good
Load it
job
up
out of her.
tomorrow, kids.
We are.
Joe
Yeah,
Thomas,
game day.
Bernie Kosar.
Good Lord. Luminaries.
Let's go.
Next level. Yes, your mic was on. Next level up next. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.